We said we were going to make our own engine oil. Well, now it's ready. 20 odd years of being a mechanic and tuning for a large portion of that, I realised in my opinion that the factory oil wasn't cutting the mustard when we're pushing these engines to higher power levels. I'm really passionate about finding the best solution for our customer. I really want to ensure that what I'm giving them is ultimately the best that I can. And that's why we went out and we created this oil. How do we make this oil? I guess the first thing to start with is I'm not an engineer, I don't design oil, and I didn't know enough about it to really go into depth and make our own oil. I'm passionate enough to find the right people to have that knowledge. When I started to approach chemists and talk about oils, they had so much information to give me. That is when I got in touch with Rafe. And Rafe we just recently did a podcast with, and he explains about the ins and outs of oil. That guy is full of so much knowledge, and his expertise in oil is amazing.
I think what we have an opportunity to do here is to make an oil that is specific for Matt's kind of customers, right? So these are people who may have modified their Land Cruiser, or they're more likely to be involved in sort of like heavy towing or off-roading versus other users who are just going to pick up the kids from school, right? So that's not really the target market. It's more heavy users, and that requires certain things of the oil. It probably requires a little bit more viscosity in terms of protection. It probably requires a little bit more anti-wear performance as well. So they're the kinds of things that we're trying to tweak to give us an oil which is specific for his kind of customers.
We wanted an oil that was going to outperform anything that we could actually get our hands on the market in the same specification, and that was really important to us. And that's why I'm proud that with a group of decent people that have the same ethic as us and wanted the same outcome, we got together and we managed to achieve this oil.
So in terms of developing an oil, and so let's say you've got a set of requirements and you sort of have a blank slate, right? For the most part, you want to take something that you already know works and then build on that. So most of it's iterative. So we have, for example, libraries of products that we know work in similar kinds of applications, and it's a matter of sort of tweaking and tailoring those products to get something that's going to work for Matt and the Just Autos group.
So Rafe and me got together with the chemist and we went, hey, how do we design an oil that is better than what we're currently getting? Now, what I wanted was not the simple oil. I didn't want to take the cheap approach and make an oil that's cheaper than everyone else's. I wanted to make sure that we can maximize and make oil the best that it can be with the boundaries that the manufacturers set for us to be able to use the oil in a lot of the cars that we have today. And that's why we come up with this 530 oil. So I guess the thing is, modern diesel engines can be a pretty confusing thing to a lot of people. Back in the day when we had older diesels, pretty simple. You could get a 1540 or even back to a 2050. There was a lot of oils back in the day that, spread through a lot of the different models of cars that you had. Nowadays, it's super complicated with the emission laws that we have, with having to have certain rated C oils for DPF and EGR related cars. It gets real confusing real quick, and I can see that the cars that were coming in, a lot of people, even mechanics I could see, that were trying to really understand and not really know what oil to put in their car. Obviously, oil is key to protection in any engine. We always recommend to go to a heavier weight oil with these particular setups purely when you are adding more power or more weight when you're towing. That is because the load of that car is going up, the heat is going up, and we need extra protection with that. There's a whole lot of things around oils, what's best and what's not best for you. There's a lot of debate on around a 020 and 530, but ultimately this is what we choose to put in our cars. This is part of our protection package that we put together with our 300 series. It's also the oil that we run in all of our pre-dyno inspections with those cars. It's oil that our distributors sell as well as us. It's suitable for Australian conditions with the temperatures that we have here in Australia, the cold as well as the extreme hot that we see here. I'm not really going to go into too much depth about the 530 and the C2, C3 and what it all means. We have a podcast that we went through all of those details about the oil. This is more an introduction into our oil and the release of our oil. We do have a TDS sheet that will be on our website, so if you want to download that, feel free. If you want to get it emailed, please get in contact and we can email that to you as well. Now when you come to Just Autos or any of our distributors to get one of our packages, you are leaving with the hardware, software, as well as our Just Autos oil. We have gone above and beyond with Just Autos oil to help protect your vehicle. Please get in contact with the guys at the front. They're happy to answer any of your questions, or go to our website and download the TDS sheet and get all the specs you need for this oil.